I'm Dick Cox with Lindy Sports and Cox Sports Broadcasting, and I'm hesitant about asking you this question. I've gotten a variety of answers today on this, though. Even Coach Saban shared his deepest thing, too. What is the most important thing you would want people to know about you? Coach Saban wanted us to know that he was a good sweeper and he did his housework for his wife and checked off the list, but what would be the most important thing that you would want people to know about you?
Wow. Shoot, there's some days I just assume they don't know anything, you know. Well, he's got housework covered, doesn't he? Well, I don't know. I don't have one. I would. Well. I guess curious about a lot of things, and then try to learn as much as you can in the process of that, you know. But you're not going to learn much unless you're curious. And then, and I say it some. I always try to remind myself it's what you learn after you know everything that counts, you know. So just constantly try to learn and improve.
We'll go to your left in the back row, Coach.
Coach, good afternoon. Jacob Goins from ESPN 106.7 in Auburn. Who are a couple players on your roster on both sides of the football that you're looking to take that next step this season?
Well, I think I want them all to. You know, I want them all to, and teams often kind of get incrementally better. I think that, I don't really have an individual or anything. I mean, I don't have. I think we got to get better at receivers. I think we got to get better in the secondary. So I'd like those two position groups to take a significant step, and that'll, you know, involve the individuals that are playing those positions. And then also, we clearly need to get better at O-line, quarterback, running backs, D-line, and linebacker too. But not by the margin those other two, perhaps.
Coach, to your right, fourth row.
Tyler Shaw with KBTX and College Station. You've called Kyle Field kind of the Carnegie Hall of college football before. For you, how was it to, you know, get the win in College Station last year, and how much are you looking forward to playing the Aggies in Starkville this year?
Well, I mean, Kyle Field's just a tremendous place to play. Beating a quality team like the Aggies, you know, is tough under the best of circumstances, and you know, I mean, it's a significant accomplishment, and I'm proud of our guys for being able to do that. And then, of course, you know, I'm kind of used to playing them every year. If you go back to Texas Tech, so you know, it's just have to get back in the swing of it, and look forward to seeing them in Starkville.
Coach, to your left, front row.
Hey, Coach Jacques Duce, WAFB TV in Baton Rouge. Your players say that you were talking about a grizzly bear a lot on the way to SEC Media Days today. Can you share with us what that was about?
Well, where I grew up in Cody, Wyoming, and I went there over 4th of July because I was in the parade there, and then and that's in northwest Wyoming. You know, it's kind of the east entrance of Yellowstone. And now I haven't checked it since, but about 2 weeks, for a week there, and it's been about 2 weeks, we had 2 people got gored by buffalo and 1 mauled by a grizzly bear. And the two people that got injured by the two buffalo ended up in Park County Hospital, which is in Cody. And then the guy that got mauled by the grizzly, they hauled him to Billings. Hopefully they're all doing okay. But that was all in 1 week. You know, I'm flying in, checking on, hey, what's been happening around here? That's all in 1 week. So it's been 2 weeks, so hopefully everybody went unscathed, you know. But don't go pet buffaloes.
On the left, Coach, fourth row.
Jamal Kennedy, WSFA 12 Sports in Montgomery, right here, Coach. Colin Duncan played really well for you in your secondary last year. What do you like about his game, and What do you hope he improves going into this year?
He's a good worker. He's a really good worker, and I think he gets better and better. And then he's starting to get kind of a presence to him out there. In other words, where it's automatic rather than having to think about it as much. But no, I think he's a good player, and I think that he's kind of an example of what we're trying to evolve a number of them to.
On your left, Coach, third row.
Brandon Adams from Dog Nation. You had a close battle with Georgia in 2020, and now you get a chance to host them this November. Do you have any early thoughts on facing UGA here this year?
No. I mean, we just have to improve as a team. We just got to keep, get as good as we can, and then you go out there and play. So, yeah, I mean, they're a good team, but and I know last year was their year, but they're in a line of good teams that we're going to play this year.
On your right, third row.
Hey, Coach. Colin Wilson with the Action Network. I mentioned to Lane Kiffin that the FBS record for fourth down attempts was 46 and that he broke it last year with 49. Mississippi State went from 22 to 16 last year. So what is the rule of thinking on fourth downs? Is it trust the defense? Is it analytics, field position? Just want to know your thoughts on fourth downs.
Kind of all the above. In hindsight, I thought we should have gone for it on fourth down more. And it kind of depends where you're. I mean, there's a lot of things go into it. Where you at on the field? How's your defense playing? Do you have a beat on what they're going to do? Do you, your various players and matchups at that position? And then, what do you think your odds are? Shorter's not always better. Sometimes medium's better. There was a particular team back at Washington State where, I was more inclined to do it on third and long than, because you knew they were going to do some ridiculously deep shell coverage thing, and you could just throw it. All you had to do was play catch. So, yeah, it varies. Probably ought to be a little more aggressive with it. And, as historically, we were going for it on fourth before other folks but we didn't do a lot of it last year.
To your left, Coach, back row.
Dan Peck, ESPN 1067 in Auburn. A couple of your players mentioned the significance of the come-from-behind win at Jordan-Hare Stadium last year and even pointed out how confident the coaches remained throughout that game, even after Auburn jumped out to the big early lead. Your memories of that game and how your coaching staff stayed so confident even as Auburn amassed a big lead early.
We moved the ball really well. I don't remember all the details, but there wasn't a point where we felt like we weren't moving the ball well, despite the fact we didn't have hardly any points. And, we stall in the red zone or miss a kick. I think we turned it over once, too. Anyway, and then but we felt like, we just had to get in sync because they weren't stopping us. We just stopped ourselves. And our feeling was if we quit doing that, we could have a big half. I guess I didn't expect it to necessarily be as big as it was. But, sometimes it's if you're too result determinative, you look out there and you say, well, we've got this many points, they got this many points, we're terrible. Well, we weren't terrible. The results weren't what we wanted to, and the results really didn't equal the quality that we were playing. We were playing at a pretty high quality, just, one mishap here, one mishap there, and the ball wasn't bouncing our way, and then you just have to ride that out and outlast it. We got momentum right before the half. We scored, and then anyways, the second half was a great deal more fun than the first half. But the results, weren't any good. But we moved it well the first half.
To your right, Coach, fourth row.
Coach, Travis Brown with the Bryan College Station Eagle. With everything that's going on surrounding college athletics, college football, do you feel like things are trending to a better place or a worse place, generally speaking, for the sport?
Too early to tell. Too early to tell. Because right now what we have is unsustainable. There will be changes. We're probably in the biggest transition period that we've been in since I've been coaching. You know, I mean, shoot, they're changing everything. We've got realignment going on. We got playoff talk going on. We've got, unmitigated free agency and bidding wars. Exactly what the basketball guys and everybody else said not to get into. Well, we're in the middle of bidding wars. We coach the athletes that have more privileges than any other professional sport, probably in the history of the world. And then, but something will change. I don't know what it'll be. I mean, being a professional is not all privilege and no responsibility. And I do think getting, if everybody got on the same page, they could find a relatively easy solution. The most difficult thing is getting everybody on the same page, I think.
To your left on the front row.
Coach David Edelstein from WJTV CBS in Jackson, Mississippi. Wondering, from your years at Mississippi State, what's maybe the biggest lesson that you've learned as a coach that will help you out and being even better in your role this coming season?
Just keep trying to improve, just keep improving. The quickest way to, to improve the teams, improve yourself. So, try to focus and constantly refine what you're teaching and what you're looking at. And then, so then your players can be more focused, detailed, and directed.
To your right, third row.
Coach Justin Woodard, KX TV and College Station. What's the biggest growth you've seen in Will Rogers? Obviously, 39 touchdowns, 36 touchdowns last year. Just his growth and what do you expect from him in 2022?
Well, he's the type of quarterback I've always liked coaching and what you shoot for, a guy that doesn't have any glaring weaknesses, but, then you want him to just get incrementally better, and which he's done that, and he needs to continue to do that. And then his job's easier as we improve the other phases of the offense, the backs, the line, the receivers, and then they need to, through practice and repetitions, become familiar with what each other are doing. And then, but he's a diligent worker. He's a tough kid. He's a good leader. So, he's got all the qualities you want in order to, pursue all that.
Final two questions, third row, on the right.
Yeah. Hey, Mike. Brett McMurphy with the Action Network. I talked with Dana Holgerson a couple months ago, and he said that you have kicked him out of the Air Raid Club because he runs the football too much. Is that accurate? And two, do you ever see you running the ball more than you have in the past few years?
Well, I think our backs are very productive, and so that's the biggest thing, to keep the backs productive. But, as far as our guys specifically that played running back, I've led conferences with running backs before, our teams have. And I think our running back production's probably, I think it's probably third if I were to guess. We're not first last year. We're probably third or so, somewhere around there in running back production. You guys can do all the math. Just understand that receiving yards count for just as many yards as rushing yards do. And then, I don't know. I mean, Dana's a friend, and I like what he does. He can do what he does. And they had a big year last year, but I don't. Over the years we've won as many games as they have, more. So I expect we'll go ahead and stick with what we're doing. And then, but now he's running it a lot, and some of it has to do with his quarterback, and and you try to design offenses around your players, and and try to focus on that. That's the biggest thing, is put your players in positions to do what they can do and what they do well. And I think Houston did a good job of that last year.
Final question, Coach, front row to your left.
Coach, so many great coaches in this league already, in particular in your division. I just wanted your thoughts on Brian Kelly making the move from Notre Dame to LSU and what that brings to the league this year.
Yeah, I've known Brian for years. I didn't realize he was as good a dancer as he is, but I'm excited to see that. And heck, you think you know a guy, right? And then, so I don't know. I mean, he's a guy that's focused, very focused on football, and he's an X and O guy, and so he does a good job. So, and our league's full of quality coaches.
Partners at BetOnline continue to be the #1 source for all your betting needs and sports info. Find all the latest odds, news, and sports developments, including this year's Wimbledon Finals, Major League Baseball, the latest fighting news, and even next season's early NFL futures. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use our promo code BLEAV. That's BLEAV to get the bonus and get into the action. Bet online, where the game starts.